If you want to be the kind of speaker that captivates an entire room, there's one technique you can use that's better than anything else. Being an effective speaker is just about telling stories. I saw a perfect example of this the other day. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney was speaking to a group in Australia. He told a story, and the entire audience was completely riveted.
Well, boy, the dinners at Basel were easy, right?
And I'll play his full story for you at the end of this video. But the point is, when we go into a speaking engagement, it's really tempting to latch onto the corporate brochure, those main messages, and just regurgitate them, throw them out. And that's nice and safe. You're probably not going to make any mistakes, but it's not terribly compelling for the audience. What you need to do is tell us stories that sum up what you are seeing from your desk. Did a client say something to you that really summed up what's going on in your sector? One of the best examples of this that I've ever seen was at a financial conference in Bali before the pandemic, and the former CEO of DBS, Piyush Gupta, took the stage. And instead of getting up there and throwing out all sorts of data, he told a story about his dad, who was in his 80s, and how proud he felt when he saw his dad sort of using the DBS app and punching in all of those numbers and doing those transactions. And the entire audience was riveted. So when you get up there, don't try to sound smart. Your credibility has already been established just by the fact that you've been invited to speak. We want to hear what you're seeing, and everyone has a unique role. Everyone has a unique perspective. Leave all of the data points to AI. We can get it from there. You tell stories that sum up your unique vantage point and viewpoint in the market. And that's what's going to make people pay attention when you are up there on that stage. And as promised, here's Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's full story on how central bankers helped save the global financial system during the global financial crisis. And if you haven't already yet, please hit subscribe and join us here on the channel as we focus on how you can be the best version of yourself.
Don't tell the story. Tell it. Okay. This is a long time ago. In fact, it was 2 weeks into the job. Had Governor of the Bank of Canada. It's February 2008, and I go there, and Bear Stearns is collapsing. Seemed like a big deal at the time. In retrospect, it's like there's nothing, but it was a big deal. And we had to decide because Asia, typical Asia was going to open, and so we go to this dinner, and it's called the G10 Central Banks. So it's a core group of the central banks, and Jean-Claude Trichet is the chair. We show up, and we have an hour and a half to make a decision about flooding the system with liquidity or shutting certain things down, et cetera. It's pretty complex, but we're around this dinner table. It's like a 7-course meal. And Trichet spends the first 10 minutes. He welcomes me, which I thought was nice. Mark, welcome. And then he says, we have the best wine in Europe at this dinner. And since it's the best wine in Europe, it's the best wine in the world. And then he goes through the wines. He describes all the wines, tick, tick, tick. And he's like, well, I have this one, but, the Pinot Grigio. And then he finishes it. He says, okay, listen, we only have an hour. And he says, okay, we have to decide, because the politicians are useless, basically, as he says. And if we don't decide here, all is lost. Ben, what should we do? Anyways, an hour later, all I remember is I'm like, the wine is fantastic. How much are we on the hook for? But anyways, we got it done. So yeah, the central bankers have a lot more fun. And we're working all the time. No fun, no rest for us.